Hey everybody, what's going on? Happy Friday. We've got a brand new Tesla full self-driving beta build. This one is 11.4.3 and we're going to go take it for the very first drive. I have not driven it yet, so you'll get my first impressions live. And we're going to go to the bank, Wells Fargo Bank. It's about 8.6 miles away, 23 minutes. And we're going to have the car take us there and let's see how it does. Alright, so we got the system on. We're off to the races. And now it is slowing down. It's noticing this is a more residential street. There's a curve. It wants to make sure it can see, so it's lowered its speed down to 17, which is great. The speed limit here is technically 15. Human drivers don't really drive that slow, but we're going to be a little more law-abiding. And it has applied an offset of a couple miles over the limit, as I've instructed it to. I've told it to drive about 15% over the speed limit to, not block traffic here in Los Angeles, where people can get impatient. All right, now we're coming up on a gate. This gate has been a little bit of a challenge lately for it, although it's worked well in the past. It has a little trouble recognizing the fact that this gate only opens when you get close to it. So I need to usually give it a little accelerator push to get to the place where it actually opens the gate. So I would love if the team could somehow fix this where it just sort of creeps towards the gate, expecting that it'll open if it gets close. I don't think they have any sort of logic for that kind of thing. And now it's detected that the gate's open and it's continued. So a lot of the logic is there for checking if the gate's open or closed, waiting for it to finish opening. But it still requires that accelerator press for me. Alright, now we've got an unprotected left turn. There's no traffic light here, and looks clear to go. Took a little bit too long to speed up there, but overall pretty good. And we're cruising right along here. Next up we got a left turn onto Crenshaw Boulevard. Now in early versions of 11.4, there was a strange bug where it wouldn't make a left turn from one of the lanes. It was a little bit awkward about how it handled it, especially in heavy traffic. So we'll see if that situation's improved much in this build. Since this is 11.4.3, this build is going to be less about major functionality improvements and more just about smoothing out bug fixes, just sort of polishing the release. And we're about a quarter mile away now from our left turn. We got a truck waiting here. It didn't stop for that, which is good. Sometimes it would slow or stop when it saw cars that it thought might jump in front. And here's our left turn coming up. There's two left turn lanes. What's it gonna do? Okay, so it is picking this outside left turn lane where it was having problems in the past. Early on not moving, and then after that sort of just being awkward. So let's see what happens here. It appears that it's going for it, but way overcautiously. There's a guy behind me who's getting pretty annoyed. Yeah. Okay, so it did get stuck again there. I don't know why it's getting stuck, but that seemed to be fixed before. Now the issue is reoccurring. Alright, slowing a little too much going onto this street. And next up we got a right turn in 3.2 miles. Okay, the light's green. We can proceed through here. Another green light, we can keep going. Now there is another issue that has really been driving me nuts for the last 3 years since they got it, which is that there's two sets of speed limit signs on this road going downhill. There's the normal speed limit, which I think is 45, and then there's a truck speed limit, which is 25. And it's kind of hit or miss. Sometimes it does it right, sometimes it doesn't. But often it'll think that the speed limit is 25 and slow down. So Obviously, this can cause a big issue if there's people behind you coming fast on a downhill. So let's see how it handles this. I may need to really quickly hit the scroll wheel up. Okay. Yep, see? It went down to 25. And then here's the next speed limit, but it actually, already is slowing down too much and potentially causing a problem. So it used to be much slower about adjusting the speed limit, but then NHTSA made them change it. So now it's slowing down a lot more abruptly, which is great. You want to respond to speed limit signs quickly, but it can cause a problem when, okay, here's another sign, truck speed limit 25. Okay, see, that time it got it. I don't know why. I think maybe if the truck thing is on top, it detects it, but if the truck thing is on the bottom, it doesn't, maybe? I don't know. But that sure is annoying. And it's very sort of unpredictable, sometimes it might work, sometimes it might not work. But we're cruising along down the hill now. Here we've got some flashing yellow lights. This is important for it to recognize this, not as a traffic light or something it has to slow for, but something it can actually proceed through with caution. So it handled that well, and that's great to see. In earlier builds, it hasn't happened for a while, but in earlier builds, a situation like that would cause it to slow down or even stop, which is not what you want. Right, so we've got a right turn in about 1.3 miles on the Pacific Coast Highway. Light's green. Everyone's moving slowly. And it's moving over into the right lane. It didn't signal. So that may or may not have been intentional. Could have been an error in following the lane, or maybe it's just positioning itself in this lane so that it's closer to make the right turn. But we're rolling along. Here's another speed limit sign. That's all well and good. It's 45, so we like that. But you can see how annoying this is. I think there's even one more 25 speed limit sign. Okay, the car's now slowing down heavily because there's somebody sticking out a little from the gas station parking lot. It now offset and then continued. Okay, here's the other 25, but it's covered by that tree, thankfully. So I'm like, I really hope they don't trim that tree, because then it sends me down to 25 again. And it used to be in the early builds, you couldn't actually override it. You could only go 5 miles over. So now, thankfully, at least you can override it. But man, this is an issue that's just been bothering me for years, and there's no fix in sight. It's really frustrating. You would think with the Vision Speed Network, they'd be able to look and say, this is a really wide road with a lot of lanes. I probably shouldn't be going 25. Even if I think I read the speed limit's 25, I should look at other traffic, I should look at other cues before just sort of making a rash decision and slowing the car down to half the speed that everyone else on the road is going. I mean, you could get rear-ended. So, okay, we're making a right turn now. Very nice in getting into the right turn lane. This is something that's been a challenge for it in the past, is when you have heavy traffic, which is common here in LA, where people are overflowing out of the lane. Like, you often see this, people overflowing out of the left lane, people overflowing out of the right lane. In the past, it hasn't really handled it well. It would often miss getting into the right turn lane or the left turn lane if there were too many people in it. Or it would get stuck behind, for example, people overflowing out of the left turn lane when it just needed to go straight. So more intelligent handling of these high traffic situations is important, and it's good to see some progress in that area. I think there's more work to do, but heavy traffic situations are very common. Most people are going to want to use it on their commute home and back when traffic is at its worst. So it's really important to excel in that situation. Right now, I would say it works the best when there's less traffic. All right, and we got another left turn coming up in 1.8 miles. So yeah, this is I think gonna be a hit product. I don't think people really understand how much more useful it is than Waymo and Cruise. Everyone's like, oh well it's driverless, but there's just so many restrictions on how and when you can use it that it's pretty much useless. I'd rather have something like this where, yeah, it's imperfect, but I know it's imperfect. I'm here, I'm ready to take over anytime it's needed, and I can just use it anytime, any place I want, and they'll keep sending me updates as it gets better and better. You know, there was news this week about Mercedes, right? They've got their Drive Pilot, and you can only use it in the daytime when it's not too sunny but not too rainy, on certain models of Mercedes-Benz cars, on certain pre-mapped highways in Los Angeles, across California, Los Angeles, the Bay Area, San Diego, Central Valley, and the highways going to Nevada, when you're going less than 40 miles an hour. I mean, this is just such a ridiculous list of restrictions. When you look at what Tesla's done, they've got it included in every single car they sell. They are agnostic to whether it's daytime or nighttime, whether it's rainy or sunny. They don't care if you cross from California into Arizona. It's not suddenly going to stop working. They don't need pre-mapped roads. You can just use any road. And there's actually some people who are so misinformed about this that they think Mercedes is more advanced. I mean, it can't actually make lane changes. This is really just a marketing gimmick, and it's not really that much better than any other lane keeping assist that's out there. I mean, you even have LiDARs on these cars, radars, microphones on the outside, all this extra hardware they've added, and they can't even get performance that's close to basic autopilot, really. So I think it's just really underappreciated how far Tesla is ahead compared to everybody else. I mean, this thing is so incredible, a lot of people don't believe it. They're like, I don't believe you. You're lying somehow, you're editing these videos, maybe you're only posting the good ones. So, you know what, I think I'll go live and just show people how it works live. The reason I don't do that more is because this stupid GoPro, maybe they fixed this in a software update, but when I go live, it goes live upside down because of the way I have the GoPro mounted. It automatically corrects the orientation when I'm filming video, but when I go live, it posts it upside down. So I think what I'll do is just broadcast it upside down, and you can just hold your computer upside down, and then I'll just post the video of it right side up after. So that way people know it was still done live. It wasn't, you know, pre-screened or pre-edited or anything. It was just went out just that way. And then they can watch the more prepared version as well for a better viewing experience right side up, with the video stabilized and all that, because you know, that's also another reason why I don't do it live, is I stabilize the video so it looks good. Alright, so we're cruising along here. We've got quite heavy traffic here on PCH. There's tons of cars in either lane, and it's got to make a left turn in about half a mile onto Normandy Avenue. So we'll see if it can actually get into the left turn lane before it needs to do that. It's definitely a challenge. It would be a challenge for any previous version of autopilot, but FSD Beta actually has a fighting chance. It's not guaranteed that it'll make it, but man, it's had some really impressive lane changes in tight traffic, so let's see what it can do here. And we're about 8 minutes away from the bank, 2.3 miles away. Looks like we got a garbage truck in this lane, so not a great lane to be in. Now would be a great time to change lanes. We got a little bit of a gap here, but it's not doing it. This truck isn't going to give us room forever. Oh, it looks like they're making a left turn. Okay, perfect. Okay, well that was a piece of cake. And we're offsetting from this garbage truck, giving some room, even driving a little bit over the yellow line. You can hear some of the, I don't know what you call it, those reflector things that make noise when you drive over them. So, keeping some good distance from the truck, which I like. That definitely improves passenger comfort. A human would be much more likely to drive over the yellow line a little bit when there's no cars on the other side than to drive too close to a big dump truck like that. And we have a left turn in about 400 feet. Now, notably, it's not getting into this left turn lane, which is a left turn lane to enter this parking lot. It is waiting for the right place, and it braked a little there for some reason. Braking a little bit now unnecessarily. I don't know why. It's approaching very slowly, but it did get into the lane. I think something was tripping it up, or maybe something about this truck. It's having a hard time figuring out how far away it really is. Maybe because of the stickers? I don't know. Alright, so now we're waiting to make a left turn. So the power of, AI in the car is just incredible, that we have this kind of AI shipping to millions of cars. And this is running all the time, whether you're in autopilot mode or driving manually. It's looking after you, it's protecting you. It's making sure you don't crash. So as consumers start to become aware of this, they're going to say, why would I get in a car that could kill me and my family when there are cars on the market that have AI and make it significantly less likely that's going to happen? Everyone's going to want the car with AI. Especially now that you can get a Model 3 for, under $30,000 in some cases when you apply some of these federal and state incentives that exist. Assuming you qualify, of course. There's income limits and that sort of thing. Okay, so we saw the car brake there a little bit. Presumably because it was waiting to see if that car would pull out in front of us. But it was a little bit unnatural and probably not what I would have done as a human. I also did notice the path planner sort of going into the parking lot there, so sometimes you have those issues where the path planner is just drawing a path to the wrong place, so that's a really bad class of bug, but notably it didn't try and pull in, so that's good. I think maybe it was trying to predict a path to avert a collision because it thought that that car was going to pull out, so that was its plan if the car did end up pulling out. Rather than trying to crash into it, it probably would have tried to turn right to divert. So that's kind of interesting. But essentially it was wrong in its prediction that the car was going to pull out. The car actually stopped. So maybe it needs to refine that a little bit. Or it could be that it's just being a little overcautious. Since this is a new update, they usually focus on safety rather than smoothness when the update's new, and dial it back as they become more confident in the release as it sort of validates. Alright, so we got a left turn on Sepulveda Boulevard in 1 mile. And it's a nice, easy, comfortable ride. I just get to enjoy, look around at the surroundings, look at things that maybe I wouldn't have noticed if I just been focusing on the lane lines. Like what other people on the road are doing, other risks, other hazards that maybe I should be aware of as the driver. So really just increasing the driver's overall awareness of their surroundings and their ability to make safe decisions, I think. And, you know, it's pretty quick. I'm sort of trailing all these guys, but we're going 52 miles an hour here. It has no problem traveling at real road speeds that people travel at. And here's our left turn. We're pulling into the left turn lane. And then we've got our Wells Fargo Bank right ahead on the right once we make this left turn. So let's see how it does that, if it's able to make the left turn and then get over in the right lane in time in less than 0.1 miles to make it to the destination. I wouldn't be surprised if I missed it, honestly, and I had to just take control and pull into the parking lot myself. But let's see, let's not count it out. This version can do some pretty impressive things. Alright, now we got the left turn. It looks like we don't have a left turn arrow, so we're gonna have to wait until there's a safe moment and make the left turn. So that adds a little extra challenge to it. Okay. It's hard to really see with this guy here. Yeah, there we go. Great. And okay, we got 2 lane changes. Wow, it made that quick. And now we're gonna pull in to the parking lot, and here's Wells Fargo. So there you have it, FSD Beta 11.4.3. It took me parking lot to parking lot with 0 takeovers. I think there was a couple of accelerator presses, a couple of, or maybe 1 speed limit increase when it read the speed limit wrong. But, you know, very little input required to get here. The car was pretty much able to get here on its own using just AI, using just computer vision. And it's only getting better from here. I'm sure within the next few updates, or even in the next few weeks without an update, we're going to see even that small input I had to give eliminated, so that you can just be in your parking lot, you know, in your driveway, turn on FSD Beta, and boom, it takes you to where you want to go, start to finish. You don't have to do a thing. This is much closer than we think. You know, will it work every time? Will it be 100% reliable? That might take a little bit longer, but it's going to start becoming a pretty common occurrence to just get in your car, tell it where you want it to go, and it takes you there, no problem. So don't just take it from me. Help add some data. Try it yourself in your neighborhood. If you're in the US, you can subscribe for just $200. Every Tesla made since October 2016 has the hardware for this. And you can just subscribe for $200, and they'll send you the software. You can try it in your neighborhood if you're in the US or Canada. And if you don't have a Tesla, you can get one now. They've got some insane deals. You got a $7,500 federal tax credit. You got state incentives that are $2,000 in California or $5,000 in places like Vermont or Colorado. So definitely check what the incentives are for your states. Check your utility incentives. And you can actually get a Tesla Model 3 that can run this software for less than the price of like a Toyota Camry or actually similar per mile cost to a Toyota Corolla when you look at everything, the fuel, the maintenance, the tax credits, and the price of the car. So honestly, it's really stupid to buy anything else. And then when you look at the software, you realize that cars that don't have this aren't going to be worth much in the future. So definitely take a look at it. Use my referral code if you do, and they'll give you some prizes and cool stuff. If you get a Model S or X with my referral code, then they'll give you $1,000 off and 3 free months of full self-driving. And the Model S and X are amazing. They're pretty much the best car you can get. And you'll get 3 years of unlimited free supercharging. So you can drive as much as you want around the car, around the country, with FSD Beta, and drive to your heart's content. You won't spend anything. And the car will just drive you around. On the highways, the software is incredible. So buy FSD if you don't have it, and try this out. If you don't have a Tesla, it's time to get one, and use my referral code. So thanks, and I think the next video we'll try and do it live and see how that goes.